In today's video, we're going to talk about the intriguing story of the Rampart Scandal that occurred during the late 1990s and early 2000s in Los Angeles. What is the Rampart Scandal? The Rampart Scandal involves corrupted and criminal police officers from the Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, or CRASH, the anti-gang unit of the Los Angeles Police Department's Rampart Division. Approximately 70 police officers took part in various criminal activities, ranging from small offences like perjury or planting false evidence to more serious crimes such as dealing drugs, bank robberies, illegal shootings, cover-ups, and more. Only 24 of them were found guilty of minor wrongdoings, leading to 12 being temporarily suspended, 7 retiring or resigning, and 5 being terminated. This means that more than half of the suspects got away with their actions, suggesting a smooth and well-planned operation with much hidden evidence. Some were not convicted because they lost their lives during the scandalous events. Although the scandal may not have had many repercussions, as those involved weren't adequately punished, it significantly discredited the LAPD and the city of Los Angeles. Additionally, the LAPD had to pay as much as $125 million in fines from 140 lawsuits against the city. In the 2005 mayoral election, ex-mayor James Hahn lost to Antonio Villaraigosa, and supposedly the ex-chief of the LAPD played a significant role in it. Let's explore how it all started. The Rampart Scandal dates back to March 18, 1997, when police officer Liger shot off-duty Rampart crash officer Gaines due to road rage. Shooting someone because of a road rage is absurd, so it can be assumed that there's much more to the story. Judging by Liger's statements and those of other witnesses, Gaines approached Liger's car, flashed some gang signs, and pulled a gun first. After being threatened, Liger took out a gun and took Gaines' life. Everything looked very doubtful at first glance, and it seemed like an excessive use of force and an unprovoked shooting of Gaines. The LAPD carefully studied the case for about a year and made the decision that Liger wasn't guilty. So he continued doing his job after previously being assigned to desk duty. To make things even more intriguing, Gaines had connections with a rap music label called Death Row, owned by controversial music producer Suge Knight, who hired policemen for various assignments and was linked to the shootings of many famous rappers. Gaines's family sued the city of Los Angeles and eventually received $250,000, even though they initially sought $25 million. After the first controversial event, things settled down, at least for a few months, until November 6 of the same year. You've probably heard of cases involving minor violations by police officers, but have you ever heard of police officers robbing a bank? Well, it happened. The robbers stole $722,000. The first suspect was assistant bank manager Arilyn Romero, because the bank had more cash than it was supposed to, and her link to the robbery was obvious, since that cash was deposited in the bank 10 minutes before the robbery. Her boyfriend, LAPD officer David Mack, came up with this idea, and he exchanged 14 years of his life in prison for that sum of money, which was never found. Death Row was also kind of associated with this case, as David Mack revealed he was close to the mob Piru Bloods gang linked to Death Row Records. It looks like everything Eazy-E and other gangster rappers rapped about is not far from the truth. The tradition continues. Everything quietened down for some time until a new scandal unraveled on February 26, 1998. LAPD officer and a member of the CRASH, Brian Hewitt, brought in a man named Ismael Jimenez, who was a member of the 18th Street Gang, for questioning. During the interrogation, Hewitt went overboard and beat up gang members, inflicting serious physical damage on Jimenez, making him cough up blood. Jimenez received $230,000 in a lawsuit against LA, and Hewitt was fired. Another officer, Ethan Cohen, allegedly knew about the excessive use of force by his colleague, but decided not to report it, leading him to being fired along with Hewitt. This one may not be as controversial as the previous ones, but let's see what the following ones bring. Missing cocaine as the last straw. Only a month after the last scandal, a new one appeared as more than 6 pounds of cocaine went missing from an evidence room. After officers were accused of selling drugs, working for criminals, and robbing banks, stealing cocaine was the last straw that made Police Chief Bernard Parks demand the establishment of an investigation force in May 1988 to address all the issues. The investigation force was named the Rampart Corruption Task Force, and it initially focused on Perez, who was the main suspect in the theft of cocaine. In the meantime, 1 more pound of cocaine went missing. LAPD arrested Perez for the unauthorized taking of the cocaine, and after initially denying the charge, he eventually admitted that he stole the cocaine and replaced it with Bisquick. Perez also struck a deal with the LAPD and assisted the police significantly in resolving several cases involving illegal activities within the offices of Rampart Crash, including shootings, framings, false testimonies, and many others. The most interesting part about this case is that he provided an unbelievable amount of 4,000 pages of sworn testimony. It looks like those police officers wasted no time when it comes to gang engagement. Additionally, Perez was only sentenced to 5 years in prison and was granted immunity from further prosecution for future felonies, except murder. His testimony led to 70 officers being charged with some kind of felony, but only a few of them were fired or suspended. Still, Perez's contribution to debunking the Rampart scandal was immense. His testimony also played a crucial role in overturning as many as 100 convictions. LAPD Chief Parks formed a board of inquiry to further investigate the issues regarding the scandal. The report, from March 2000, suggests that illegal activities were allowed to happen because of inadequate supervision. Additionally, LAPD came up with new strategies for drafting police officers, training, supervision, and monitoring. Following this, Park announced the closure of crash units and the creation of a new anti-gang unit that would avoid the negative sides of its precursor. Everything pointed to LAPD continuing to work as usual without any great consequences, but thanks to public pressure, including Professor Chemerinsky and his negative review, along with the Rampart Independent Review Panel that consisted of lawyers, executives, educators, and other citizens, that didn't occur. On September 19, 2000, Los Angeles City allowed a federal judge to monitor and evaluate reforms inside the LAPD for the next 5 years. Although Mayor Riordan and LAPD Chief Parks were initially against it. To simplify it, that meant that the feds temporarily took over LAPD. It looked like LAPD tried to hush up many things and diminish the importance of delicts within it, but luckily they didn't succeed. The main evidence of hushing up attempts was that LAPD Detective Russell Poole, who was the lead investigator of all the substantial cases of the Rampart scandal, resigned after 18 years of service due to the alleged interruptions of solving cases that came from Parks. Also, many cases were overturned thanks to the division of Rampart. Many cops were prosecuted, and many falsely accused people were released from prison and given compensation. Political and cultural implications. The amazing events that struck the Rampart unit inspired many movie and game producers and had some political implications as well. The new mayor didn't rehire Parks and subsequently lost the next elections to Villaraigosa because he lost the support of the black community, meaning Rampart was also involved in this political competition because the new mayor refused to hire Parks, probably because of the scandal. The popular TV series The Shield was inspired by the Rampart Scandal, and the name of it was even meant to be Rampart. But the authors of the series gave up on it to evade any potential legal problems. The famous game GTA San Andreas is also inspired by these events and involves corrupted officers who live and work in the city of Los Santos. That is a very clear allusion. We've already mentioned LAPD links with Death Row Records, the property of Suge Knight. So it's important to highlight the movie Straight Outta Compton that shows these connections. The movie is about the famous rap group NWA that worked with Death Row Records, and it depicts a very intimidating situation when Dr. Dre recognizes a police officer in Suge Knight's company. The officer is most likely either David Mack or Rafael Perez. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like what we're doing and want us to continue with more cool content. Till the next time.